MGTV, η ομογένεια κοντά σας.
Sadly, the Klan still is menacing immigrants throughout our great country, but AHEPA continues their great work as well, spreading the gospel of love and tolerance and standing for what is right. And our honoree, Chapter 25, is that largest affiliate, so that's newly christened, right? The largest affiliate of AHEPA in the country. This group has walked that delicate line of assimilating into the United States while preserving their Greek American values of self-improvement, love of family, and civic virtue. AHEPA embodies that famous Greek word, philanthropy, the love of helping others. This organization has raised more than $400,000 to help restore Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. They preserved this place where many of our ancestors became new Americans themselves, as well as the international symbol of opportunity and prosperity here in New York. The Statue of Liberty is still a beacon of hope for new Greeks who have settled here in our great city, and they've found a better life amid many challenges. Our community is so much richer for having organizations like AHEPA to stand up for us. So I want to congratulate AHEPA on their great work, on their newly christened being the largest chapter in the country, but honor them today for their great work. Bring forward the President, Lou Passos, for the proclamation and remarks.
About us as Americans, because the first word in AHEPA is American. It's the American organization. So let me just say one thing, that I'm honored to be here to represent AHEPA. The first Greek Independence Day event that took place in this particular building was in 1893, a little bit over 125 years ago. And it was the first time that they raised the Hellenic flag right on top of City Hall. So it's an event that they would have every year in the beginning. And the first parades actually were not down Fifth Avenue, obviously, they were down Broadway. And for those who know the history of this particular area, the Hellenic community was actually west of Broadway, what was known as Little Syria. And east of the Brooklyn Bridge, all the way up to Manhattan Bridge. And that's why you have those two churches that we have here today. St. Nicholas, which is the only church that fell during 9/11, have some of the best representatives of those Philippines. For example, we have Jefferson, the statue of Jefferson who's here. We have George Washington. We have Lafayette, another Philippine. And many people don't realize the relationship between the Hellenic people and the American people. It goes back even before the revolution, as a matter of fact. When we talk about, for example, Jefferson, when he was the president of the United States, we had trouble. We had the Barbary pirates in northern Africa. And as a matter of fact, when we were a commercial nation, we were trying to trade. And basically, because of the Barbary pirates, 10% of our annual revenue had to go to the pirates, basically, to allow the ships to come in. Finally, Jefferson said no, and you had what we call the Barbary Wars in northern Africa. The most famous battle, and the first battle of Americans outside of the United States was actually in that area. It was actually in Tripoli. And we all remember the famous song of the Marines that basically talks about from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. But one thing that some people don't realize is, and this was during Jefferson's time, that when the Marines were there in the Battle of Darna, which was the first battle that was fought by America outside of America, there were 10 Marines that fought, and there were 50 Greeks that fought with them. And they were basically mustered in Alexandria in Egypt, and that was the first victory of the United States outside of the continental United States. The first actual monument that was created, in fact, was for that battle. And it was outside the capital of the United States, and now it's outside of the U.S. military facilities. So let me talk a little bit about the history of the American Philippines and the Hellenic War of Independence, because I think it's very important now that we celebrate in this particular day Greek independence. Specifically, there was always a linkage between our people. As a matter of fact, from the beginning of this country, if you look at our architecture, if you look at democracy that we talk about, they always looked to Greece, and in terms of philosophy, in terms of art, in terms of architecture. So our linkage goes way back. When Greece declared, or when the people of Greece declared their independence, understand, no nation in the world was supporting us. No nation in the world was supporting us. By that I mean in Europe. No one had declared to support us. And the reason why they didn't do it was because it was a post-Napoleonic age. And in that particular time, no one wanted to hear the word revolution in Europe. And as a matter of fact, don't forget, there were the monarchies throughout Europe. You had kings, and you had the Sultan. They did not want the Greeks to win the War of Independence. There was only one nation, in fact, that spoke up for the Hellenic people as a nation. They couldn't send troops or anything of that nature because they had laws within the United States that they did not want to fight a European war. But most of the most famous Americans at that particular time spoke about the Greek Revolution and to support it. We had Thomas Jefferson, for example, that we mentioned. Thomas Jefferson had many discussions with Adamantios Morais, for example, who was based in Paris. They discussed revolution and things of that nature. Americans understood what it meant to be a revolution. Americans understood what it meant to be free. Americans understood what it meant to be under slavery. And here in these halls, right outside, a few steps from here, where the body of Abraham Lincoln was sitting here for a period of time after his death. We understand what it meant as Americans. So you had famous Americans. You had, for example, John Adams spoke eloquently about the Hellenic Revolution. James Monroe, Daniel Webster, Henry Clay. And their speeches, and it's very important that you go back home and you look at those speeches and understand those relationships that we had. And again, in terms of Hellenism, understand that America actually voted to have the Greek language potentially be the language of the United States. They lost by a few votes, but we almost, all of us maybe have been speaking Greek, by this particular time. There were Americans that in fact, early on fought on the Hellenic side. Caracas, who was known as Capitan Zebras. Okay, George basically left right at the beginning of the revolution. He went into Greece. As a matter of fact, within a few months, he was also captured, and he was exchanged for some Ottoman Turks that were also captured. And he became one of the great heroes, actually, of the revolution. He fought, for example, with Karaskakis. He wore the fustanella. He spoke the Hellenic language. And in fact, he was there when Karaskakis was killed, and he was a lieutenant general in the Hellenic army. We have, of course, the famous Dr. Samuel Howe, who, when he graduated from Harvard with his medical degree, he went to Greece and became a surgeon for the Greek army, and eventually became the chief surgeon of the Greek army. We have a portrait here of George Washington. We had a relative of his, actually, William Washington, who went to Greece to fight in Greece and actually died in the Battle of Balamedia. We had other great Americans, George Wilson. We had James Williams, an African-American slave, formerly slave, who left Baltimore and went to Greece, joined the Hellenic Navy, and died in the battles outside of Naupakos. We have many Americans, and again, we had George Washington's relatives. We have another portrait here, we said of Lafayette. And again, Lafayette was one of the Philhellenes that supported the Hellenic cause, and we know, obviously, what Lafayette did for us in the United States during the beginning days. So what do we have to say about Americans? And what do we have to say about Hellenes? There is a common bond between us. And we talked about some people who went, and there are many heroes, many people who went and fought for us. But that common bond is basically people to people also. Because you had, for example, in the United States, in New York, here, people, regular people, raised all types of money for the revolution. As a matter of fact, they had a ball in New York where they charged $5 per person. They had 2,000 people who came, and they sent $10,000 actually for the Greek war effort. So, as we discussed, it should not be forgotten, the generous outpouring of moral, intellectual, financial support and kindness of the American people during this conflict. And the important thing you should come out with today is not so much that this is the Hellenic Revolution, that's only for Hellenic people, but this is also for American people. This holiday is also an American holiday, because there were many Americans who went, fought, and died in the Hellenic Republic, and certainly we had a lot of people who were supporting us during that period. The other thing to keep in mind is the orphans that the Americans supported. There were thousands of orphans after the War of Independence, and many of those orphans actually were adopted here in the United States. Some of them became extremely famous. For example, George Horesis, who came here as a young boy. He was adopted here, and he became an admiral in the United States Navy. We have, for example, Lucas Miltiades, who was adopted by Miller, who also fought in Greece. And Lucas became the first representative, Hellenic American representative in the United States Congress. And he was one of those orphans. We have Dr. John Zappos, for example. Dr. John Zappos. Dr. John Zappos was a professor. He came here as a child. He was educated here in the United States, was a professor at Cooper Union, and became very famous within that area. He was the guy that also, for those who don't know, developed the stenotype that lawyers, those of you who are lawyers and talk about stenography and all that, and the stenotype, Dr. John Zappos developed that. So we can talk on and on about this, but I think what's important is that, you know what, I should mention this also because it's very important. A few of you are Cypriots, and I have to thank you for that, because, and I have to thank you, Councilman, because the Cypriots had 3 ships that Canaris brought in, and there was over 1,500 Cypriots who came into mainland Greece to fight in the revolution. And Cyprus, although they're not shown in any portraits, let's say, that we had for Delacroix, for example, for the massive genocide that took place in Chios, there was a genocide also in Cyprus, because the Cypriots did in fact rebel during the revolution. And in fact, many of them were killed. All their major religious leaders were hung, actually, in the main plazas of Cyprus. So we thank you, we thank the Cypriot people, we thank all the Hellenic people. And just as final words, I would say, may Cyprus be united and free. God bless America, and Zito Yolos.
Thank you for all that you do. Thank you to AHEPA. The Greek, the Cypriot flag, the Greek flag, and the American flag all united this evening, as they should be. So thank you. We've reached the end of our program. I want to thank you all for coming this evening to celebrate our Greek heritage and Greek independence. We have the parade coming up on April 14th, so there'll be no shortage of opportunities to celebrate. I want to thank all of our wonderful honorees this evening, Dr. Dia, Hannock, and AHEPA District 25 for all that you do. And again, I want to thank my brother, Paul Malone. You can call our speaker, Corey Johnson, our council member, Justin Brennan, men and women. Let's give them all really a big round of applause. Men and women who have put this together this evening. And all of the staff, the essential staff, will help do all the work, lay out all the chairs, serve all the food. Thank you for all that you guys do. With that, let's go for the parade on the 14th, and happy Greek Independence, everyone. Look forward to next year right here at the table. All the other.
MGTV USA. Οι δραστηριότητες της ελληνοαμερικανικής κοινότητας με βίντεο και πλήρες ρεπορτάζ. Επισκεφτείτε την ιστοσελίδα μας mgtvusa.com. Καλύπτουμε καθημερινά τα γεγονότα στην Ομογένεια.